I've used free apps to build a 7-figure Airbnb business and helped over 2,000 property owners achieve over $1 billion in booking revenue. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what these apps are and how to start using them today if you really want to blow up your own Airbnb bookings too. Starting with the first one that will make sure you're not undercharging and missing out on potentially thousands in missed bookings. So have you ever had a week in your Airbnb calendar that gets booked out months in advance, but you have no idea why the rest of your calendar is empty? Well, I've had this happen to my properties more times than I can count. But if I knew what I knew now, I could have doubled, if not tripled, my booking revenue from that one booking. Think about this. In the moment, you might not think there's a reason why your property is booked out so far in advance. But a couple of weeks later, you notice a new review that mentions somebody had such a great time at the concert and your property was in the perfect place. After a bit of Googling, you realize that Coldplay just played 3 nights in Wembley with 90,000 people looking for somewhere to stay every single night. So whilst you kept your usual property price at £100, you could have easily charged closer to £300. But the crazy thing is, loads of hosts miss out on hundreds in revenue, even if they don't live next to stadiums or arenas. Every time there's a concert, a marathon, or a university graduation weekend, there is a huge increase in demand in properties nearby. But how can you possibly keep up with every single event that goes on and keep updating your prices to take advantage of this increase in demand and make more money? Well, that's exactly how this first app helps. It's called AirDNA, and it saves you hours doing all this manual research for yourself. It tells you exactly when there's an event near your property so you can put your prices up accordingly. It's super easy to get it set up, and there's only really 5 steps you need to take to get started. First, go on over to airdna.co and you can set up a free account. Second, once you're in there, you can search for your exact postcode your Airbnb is in and filter down by property type and the amount of bedrooms. Then go into the demand calendar and you'll see that it pulls in all of those different event types I mentioned. Every type of concert, marathon, niche food market you've never even thought of, all in one place. Step 4 is to set up your pricing rule in your host dashboard. That bumps up your nightly rate automatically during peak demand periods that AirDNA has given you. Finally, you can sort of sit back and relax after this initial setup. Personally, I only checked with AirDNA every month or so, and this is what I recommend my clients do too. This brings us on to the next app that you can use to completely blow up your Airbnb bookings, and it works like this. So you ever been sold the dream that Airbnb is a passive income machine by these so-called online gurus? Well, I won't name any names to keep the peace, but this really annoys me because any host who's been in this game for more than a couple of months knows that this so-called passive income lifestyle is a complete lie. But with that being said, every once in a while, you do have to take time off. I mean, it's physically impossible to be awake all hours managing your property, especially if you haven't got a big team. However, there's a huge problem with this I ran into a few years back, which was quietly killing my bookings, and I see it time again with my hosts who are part of Boostly. I realized that I was missing out on bookings by not allowing late check-ins. A few years ago, I started to let people check in the middle of the night, but there's a gigantic problem with this I stupidly never realized. Most of the times, these late check-ins went fine, but every few months or so, a guest would arrive to one of my properties at 3 a.m. after a long day of traveling and couldn't find the key. Obviously, I was asleep. So usually one or two things happened. The guest eventually found the key after an hour standing outside in the freezing cold, or they ended up calling you in the middle of the night panicking. In either case, do you think they're going to be happy and leave a good review? Of course not. And when guests leave bad reviews, you don't need me to tell you that your rating tanks and your bookings fall off a cliff too. But this is exactly the problem that the next app solves. It's called HostBuddy AI, and it automates all of your messages so that this kind of nightmare, middle of the night scenario never happens. This means you can take on more bookings in the middle of the night without worrying you'll get a bad review. My clients have been using HostBuddy for the past few years, and they recommend it to all of their friends who are hosts as well. And it's super easy to get set up. First, you just go to hostbuddy.ai, very simply connect your Airbnb account. Next, you need to build out your knowledge base. Here, you write down everything that a guest might need to know. Things like check-in, check-out, where to find the key, the Wi-Fi password, guest rules, you get the gist. Finally, you want to set up what's known as your coverage schedule. You literally tell this HostBuddy AI the hours you want it to cover your messages, and it will take care of the rest. When you do this, you don't have to be glued to your phone 24/7 because HostBuddy AI will accurately answer any question your guest has at any hour of the day. And I'm not saying this is going to help you achieve completely passive lifestyle that doesn't really exist. But these AI-powered apps have allowed me and thousands of the people that I help at least take a little bit more time off to go on things like a holiday with my family without worrying that my business is going to crumble to the ground. Which brings us on to the next app you can use to blow up your bookings. Have you ever wondered why your Airbnb is fully booked out some months, whilst other months your calendar is so empty it's basically mocking you? Well, most hosts who face this all have the same thing in common. And to show you how it works, we need to think like this. So imagine that you're looking for a new job, but you've not updated your CV since 1997. Do you think you're going to get that job versus the people that are applying with up-to-date CVs, showing their experience with the latest AI tools, latest social media trends, whilst you're singing Shania Twain songs? Probably not, right? Strangely enough, Airbnb listings work in exactly the same way. Often the hosts I see that are the most successful with bookings are the ones who are consistently updating their listings to reflect current trends and what buyers are looking for at different times of the year. Just like that CV example. But you might be asking, Matt, how can I possibly find the time in my already busy schedule to go and manually change my listing descriptions? In fact, how do I even know when I need to change my listing? So this is where this third game-changing app comes into, and it will help not only boost your rankings, but it will help get you more bookings at a better rate. And it's called AutoRank by Optimizer. Now, AutoRank does three things. First, it writes all of your listing descriptions automatically. Second, it writes these descriptions using your own reviews. And finally, it adjusts the content around the seasonal holidays and peak booking times. Basically, it just saves you doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So if you want to get set up with AutoRank and have a little fun, there's 5 quick steps that you need to take. Step 1, head to the link into the description and you can go and sign up for a 30-day trial. Go ahead and connect your PMS. So if you're using a tool like HostAway or Guesty, this only takes 2 minutes. You just need to authorize the integration and AutoRank instantly pulls all of your existing listings. Step 3, you just review your listing details inside the tool. Make sure your amenities, your property type, location info, make sure it's all accurate. It'd be a bit embarrassing if you've got a couple of older guests who are expecting to be on the ground floor, but you forgot to mention your property is on the 4th floor and there's no lift. Next, you're gonna want to run your first optimization cycle. So after about 48 hours, AutoRank will have rewritten your listing descriptions, pulled highlights from your reviews, and done all the tedious work for you. Finally, I would recommend that you check your Airbnb listing stats after 2 to 3 weeks. Look at your search impressions and click-through rate inside Airbnb's host dashboard, and you'll start to see a big difference. But what do you do if even after trying these 3 apps, you're still not getting the bookings you'd like to see? Well, you're not alone, and you might only be a few small changes away from that fully booked calendar. So watch this next video, and I'll show you exactly why loads of hosts find Airbnb so hard and the quick changes you can make right now to get more bookings faster.